Okay. All right. So we will kick it off. This is going to be pretty informal. I'm going to go around the room and introduce the new folks that are joining us, and we might have one or two join after the fact. So I got to turn that off because I don't want that coming through. Tonight we're going to talk about. We're just going to be really informal for this topic right here. Um, yeah. And we're going to talk about the YouTubers Hamfest, which was last weekend. So that means I'm going to have to edit and post this pretty quick. I don't want to let it get stale or anything. But also, we're going to talk about the new channels that are joining us tonight. So I want to welcome Chris, Steve, Mike, Rob, Sterling, Pascal, Kyle, Callum, Jason, Steve, and Ape. I'm glad you're last, Ape. That's that way I got you. I got that. so, so that's four new people tonight. Is that four or three? One, two, three. That's three new people tonight who've never been on an official recording of the YouTubers bunch. So I'm gonna let you guys talk about your channels for just like a brief minute and a half intro. And we've got a couple other people who we had invited and weren't able to make it tonight. But this is a good crew right here because we've got 12 people on the screen. And it looks really good, full screen on the widescreen monitor there. So Chris is remind me your call set 2 Echo 0
UK Ham. UK
UK
Ham.
Ham UKH. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was UKH. So good evening, Chris. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good. I guess it's good late evening for you. Tell us
Yes,
about your channel.
10
Tell
o'clock
us what
there.
you do. Obviously, you do a lot of digital stuff. So go ahead.
Yeah, well, I do anything I can. I'm a flat dweller. I think you guys call it a condominium, and I do everything I can, digital and analog. So I try analog first. I've got a mag loop. I've got a. I can cover from 40 meters up to 10 meters on HF. And I can do 6 meters, 4 meters in the UK, 70 megs,
Hmm.
and I do analog, but when I can't do HF because I'm on a couple of mag loops, I do digital, and that's where my fascination with the dark side has been created. It fills the gaps.
Hmm. Oh, it does that for sure. I've heard some people say that DMR is a digital band opening in all directions at all times, which is kind of a farce, but it's not untrue. So
Yeah,
kind
but
of
digital.
cheating.
The good thing about digital, you
Hmm.
know, there's a huge argument. Is it real radio? It's not,
Right.
but it leads to a lot of interesting conversations about radio. I've got the Yaesu 857. I've got the Yaesu 991A. I've got the the ICOM 7300,
Hmm.
and I have had a digital contact, and I've said, let's try HF. Let's try. If I'm speaking to someone on digital that's 50 miles away from me, I've
Hmm.
said, let's try sideband. It's a great tool in the box. You
Right.
can you can plan QSOs. You can try experiments.
Right. Correct. Yeah, and the thing about digital is the two reasons about it being real radio. Number one, it's producing RF, so it's real radio to me. Number two, you can internet link analog repeaters also, All Star and Echolink.
Yeah,
So
just dial it in.
And
the fact that
you
it internet links radios
mhm.
together doesn't make it not radio, and the fact that it produces RF makes it radio. So that's kind of my
Even
thing.
if
I like
there's no RF, there's RF somewhere because you can be
right,
retransmitted somewhere. Yeah.
correct. Yeah, that's right. Cool. Thanks, Chris. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Mm.
Thank
Uh,
you.
we're going to go down to Pascal, who is north of the border. I think you're the first Canadian to join
I think
uh,
so.
the group, and that's really cool. I'm glad to see
Yeah.
people from
Well,
different countries instead of just all in the USA. So, welcome. Tell
well,
us
thank
about your
you.
channel.
Well, my channel is laboenligne.ca, which means online lab in French. And that's a long story because, and we were talking the last time about mistakes we do when we start a YouTube channel. Well, actually, when I started the YouTube channel, it was meant for our group because I have this domain name in my lab in the equipment rack that I have for my job. I work in telecommunication, and I have this business internet line, and I have this domain name to do the labs with my friends. And then we started doing digital. We have C4FM repeaters. That was in 2014. And I have the domain name since 2007. Then we started a website about linking repeaters in C4FM using DV4 Mini. And so we made some video. I made some video in the beginning with that, and that started the channel. But it was just to share with the friends.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at my first video, I don't even show my face. I film almost like this.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
And I kept the name laboenligne.ca, and everybody asked me, how do you pronounce it first?
Yeah.
And then why, what does it mean? Okay, so it means online lab, and that's it. And I'm too scared to change the name. Okay,
Yeah.
so I know Josh did at some point because he has Ash Nasi and he changed it for Am Radio Crash Course.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how he did. I have to talk to him, okay, because I'm scared. It takes a while, and my channel has been there for 5 years, okay, and I just reached around 12,000 subscribers recently.
Nice.
And it took me 5 years to get 10,000. It took me 1 month to get to 12. So,
Oh, wow. Sometimes it works that way.
That is great. And my audience is, when I started the website with my friend, the website was in French only, but everybody was writing me, can you do it in English? Says, okay. Then I noticed that people that comes to the website were 95% were not French speaking. They were German, British, all around the world. And so English was, the perfect language to share with AMS, and only 5% were French. So I start my videos in English only. And then somebody asked me to do it in French. And then because I started doing reviews like you guys, and the manufacturer said, hey, can you do it in French? I said, yes. So I started to do French and English. So I do both now. So I have probably half my subscribers are from Europe and are non-English speaking. They are French. They are, from all around the world, but 40% is in Europe, and maybe 40% in the US, 10% in Canada, and the French-speaking communities maybe 5 or 10%. So it's just a different audience from you guys, I guess, and probably we have some same subscribers, but it's a bit different. So.
Pascal, do you actually record? I'm sorry to interrupt, Smokey.
Anyways,
do you actually record the same video twice, once in French and once in English, Pascal?
Yes, that's why I have an accent. For the French people in France, I have a big French-Canadian accent with mix of English words, okay? And when I do my video in English, I have an accent as well. So I have an accent in both videos, okay?
Yeah.
And what gets confusing is when you're talking about technology, you're talking mainly using English words because most of the books are in English. So we all, we're talking, we're saying IP, not PI, so IP, Internet Protocol. So everything is in English. And when you do a French video with technology, it's very confusing because I keep coming back to the English terms.
Yeah.
So, and it's tough to doing that. But what I do is I actually record the English first because it's tougher for me. And then I record the English, I do a few takes, and usually I take 1 or 2 takes in French, but I use the same timeline, I just, sometimes my words are not exactly in the same order. So I have to go in the editing. I did the English one. I changed the video for French and audio, synchronize everything, and then I just rematch, the B-roll image so it will goes to the right place. But it's all the same thing. So you can watch both, and it's the same video. Yeah.
Kudos to you, because that's a lot of work. I've made one video that somebody asked me to do how to do a code plug in Spanish. So my Spanish is by no means anywhere close to fluent. It's just I guess more fluent than the rest of us standing in here. So it's a lot of work to do it in 2 languages back to back. So hats off to you, man.
I have found that there's a transcription service. There's probably a few of them out there.
Yeah.
There's a transcription service Rev.com is one of them, where you can take and you can translate from one language to another. So you can you could do your video in English and then translate it to French and do subtitles down at the bottom where it could be read in French. So
automatically. And
Right.
you know what? In English, it gets, try it on my English video, it gets the perfect word, what I'm saying, but not in French. I
not
don't
in
know.
French.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm telling you, I have
Yeah.
a specific French accent, and the Google Translator have a problem with that because I'm saying
Right.
English word at the same time. So.
Right.
But what's cool is that when I do videos in English, I get the comments very, very often from people who are non-native English speaker, that speak English as a second language. And they tell me that my English is simple and it's easier for them to understand. So maybe that explains why I have so much European subscribers.
Interesting.
That is
Maybe
interesting.
so maybe we should all speak slower, Jason.
Right. Right. Totally.
Just speed you guys back up.
Played it 2 times. Well, thanks for joining us, Pascal. It's good to have you here.
Thanks.
Appreciate that. So that takes us down. I'm just going in order of who's on my screen. That takes us down to Jason, Ham Radio TV, who got in a fight before he came here today, but he made it anyway. And what's going on, man? Thanks for joining.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. It's so great to finally join this group. I kind of call it I don't know if argument of words, I'm going to call it the elite group, but it's not really, right? But I mean, when you think of ham radio and you think of YouTube and just channels to learn from, I think we're capturing a pretty great group. Of course, there's a few others that aren't here. I think there's probably going to be a few more that will be joining us. So I'm just thrilled to be here. And yeah, so I finally broke out of a little social distancing. I went camping with some friends. There was oysters. There was possibly some drinks, a skateboard, gopher holes, and a dog. So, my nose broke my fall. It's healing up decently. I almost, didn't turn the camera on today, but anyways, happy to be here. Yeah. So Ham Radio TV. First of all, I was pretty surprised the name wasn't taken, and really when I was thinking about creating a channel, where that came from was going to a local club. And so I'm located up here in Northern California, about an hour inland from San Francisco. Don't hate me. I'm from Pennsylvania. Anyways, right away, I started realizing the presentations were great. A lot of the OMs, as we call them, just the guys in the hobby for a long time, they knew exactly how to break it down and keep it simple. So I started showing up with a video camera, a very simple deal, and everyone seemed okay with it, which, at first I wasn't sure, how that was going to go. And I just started capturing a lot of the presentations. And you get better the more recording you do. And finally, I figured out what it means to have better audio. So a couple of the first ones, people were commenting, if that guy in the front could just stop coughing, we could hear the presenter. So that was kind of a fun learning curve. But yeah, the other things I like to do on my channel is I try to get out and get as active as I can. I took the radio with camping. I did a very cool buddy pole setup with an NVIS. So some coils and horizontal, and then some wires going down to just 2 feet on the ground. And it actually worked pretty good. So you'll see different things from me. Of course, the challenges of life, and I've got young kids. That's always fun. But the last 24 weeks, I did start a live show. So every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, we go live. And it's kind of a different take on things. It started out as what we call an anti-net or a tech net. And we try not to get too heavy in check-ins. We really only want to hear from people that are just finding us. And what's kind of neat is we're on a local repeater that has, I don't know, maybe 80 square mile or so reach. But recently we have All-Star hooked to it. We have Echo Link hooked to it, DMR hooked to it. So very quickly it became fun for people to be able to check in. And then I started tying the YouTube live streaming along with that. And that's just been, it's actually been more fun creating that than anything, getting different audio equipment and computers and putting all that together. And I think that's really the big thing with this hobby is you can do so many great things with it. And yeah, so my channel is a little over 2 years ago. I've tried a few different things in the past. gosh, maybe 10 years ago, I had a channel after my name. And for a little bit, I thought I was going to do a motorcycle one. Then I had an RC car one. And so finally, when it came time to kind of picking a lane, I'm now just focusing on ham radio because I feel like it's a great community. I get so much feedback. It's almost hard to keep up at times. So, so yeah, just happy to be here. And that's my backstory.
Thanks, man. Well, appreciate you.
You do a fantastic job with that net.
Thank you.
Ministry.
Yeah,
It's just
sounds-
amazing to watch.
You have
Sounds
so
good.
many people on video.
Yeah.
That is the key thing. You've got video down. People calling in on Zoom. People that are hams, not hams, whether they're trusted or not. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Seeing all the faces on the screen, it's brilliant.
Thank you.
I will go over here real quick, and you guys can't see this right now, but I'm going to screen share at YouTubersHamfest.com. We got a link on the front here, and it's a weekly live stream schedule, and we've got, I think Steve KM9G put this together, but it's got a weekly live stream schedule going Sunday through Saturday, and it's got links to each of us that do live streams. And each one of them has I'm linked on Sunday, and temporarily offline is Monday. Good Game and Good Game's got something on Wednesday. Kyle's going to start something on Thursday, and then Callum and Josh are on Saturday. Several of you are not there. That's why I bring that up. So everybody's got access to go in. It's just a WordPress site. Everybody's got access to go in there and update that. I will share that link in the description below of this video that post. But go in there. We might want to add times to that also, Steve, because it's just got days on it right now. Okay. Go in there and put links to your channel and tell us what day and time it is so that we can direct people from there. And while you're live, if you think about it, go mention that site. Say, by the way, 3 or 4 of us are doing a Wednesday stream, which is kind of cool. So we can kind of point to one another while doing that. But yeah, feel free to share your information on that website. We're going to try to keep that website as active and relevant as possible. So dig in the background tonight, Mike. I saw you toying with it earlier, and then I saw you going, sitting back and whatnot like you were in a lounge. So that's all cool.
I am in my office chair, and it's very comfortable, and it leans back.
Yeah. Did you fall?
Nope, just chilling.
Okay. Yeah. It looked like you were going kind of far back there for a second. But it's always all good stuff, man. Cool.
Got to be comfortable in the shack, man.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
About style.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That is. Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely, for sure.
I just ordered a brand new chair. I cannot wait till it gets here.
That's exciting.
For
I
real?
got this chair. I had a really nasty, ratty chair from when I was attacking a general, and I told myself when I get my extra, I'm going to Staples and getting a nice freaking office chair, and that's exactly what I did.
There you
My
go.
extra chair.
Extra chair.
That's exactly what it is.
Extra chair. It's good to have goals.
It's the little
have-
things.
Yeah, I have a good chair, very comfortable, but it makes sounds all the time,
Oh.
So
Yeah.
you can't move when you're filming. So maybe I'm gonna change it. I don't know.
Right.
WD-40.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
kills
Right.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if this is white trash or not, but mine's a camp chair.
Yep.
You see-
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, like I had an office chair in here and it was killing my back. And then this is what I would sit in for hours when I go camping around a campfire. So I just brought it in and put it on the mat, and it's as comfortable as it can be.
Lovely.
Exactly what I was saying. When you
Love
have
it.
something comfortable, you want to keep it. because
It's got
you
a
don't
Yeah.
like
it's got a
it.
Miller Lite holder right here.
Yeah, but you're not drinking Miller Lite
Yeah,
tonight.
that looked like a Coke Zero earlier.
Yeah.
A little early. It's a little early for me.
A little early. Oh gosh, it's Sunday, man. Okay, so
No.
okay, so I would like to hear from those of you who did not stream on the YouTubers Hamfest, which is looks like about half of us tonight, really. Because we talked about we're going to do it again. We're going to try to get. We haven't decided on a date yet. Most likely, it's going to be sometime in the late fall, October, November, something like that. We've got some discussions to do on that. We don't want to interfere with another Hamfest, and we don't want to interfere with a big contest weekend, HF contest weekend. And so we've got some discussion to do around that. One thing I did want to ask the audience tonight, and I mentioned to a couple of you who joined early, does anyone have experience with building surveys? like a surveymonkey.com website or something like that. Any of you guys ever done that before?
I've done a few of them for school, but
Done a lot
Yeah.
of forms, Google form surveys.
Google Form survey. Well,
I
mean,
know a
done-
guy actually,
Yeah.
Innate RMA, who's pretty well versed with surveys.
Yeah, he would be. I'm sure he's got a lot on his plate though.
Sounds
I don't
like
know.
Sterling volunteered.
Well, I was actually starting to write some of it on my car ride home on the when we were in the you guys were turning down for on the Sunday stream, but I was in the
Mhm.
car and I was trying to watch it and be on at the same time, so I gave up. So just basic questions like, did you attend? Did you like it? Would you recommend it?
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want to do. I want us to kind of and we can start like an email chain, or we could start a Google Doc, and then once we kind of get a list of questions together, I'd like someone who's experienced with actually putting a survey together, which I poked around SurveyMonkey, and there's another one, freesurvey.com or something like that. And I looked at it and I'm like, okay, I could probably do it, but I just didn't know if someone had done it before and maybe know what to expect by building one better than I do, because I've never actually done one before.
Maybe you could ask some Hamfest organizer if when they do their own Hamfest survey years to year, so
Yeah.
maybe they have something already made question that you can adapt to the situation. So
Yeah.
Are we thinking that we
Yeah.
want the survey to be anonymous?
I think you should. I think you should give people an option.
Yeah.
If they want to share their call sign, they can do that. If they want to do it anonymously, that's fine too.
Because I think the
mean-
other one is that we'd want to put a control in there to stop somebody from submitting, 25 different survey responses to them, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, maybe. I don't know if you can.
There's two thumbs down guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Sometimes
So-
you just deal with that data,
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can take the top one or two. You can take the top one and the bottom one and get rid of them. Somebody was
Well,
talking about that
does
yesterday.
SurveyMonkey or any of those guys, do they have a way to filter by IP address or something so they know?
I believe so.
I
That
think
might be
so too, yeah.
that might be a paid feature.
Oh,
So I
okay.
don't know exactly how that works, but that would be something we'd want to look at. I would imagine. So
I don't think that they do, because we've used them at work, and it's all netted externally facing IP address, right? So we got
Oh.
20 some
Yeah,
thousand
yeah,
people all
true.
using.
Yeah.
Not that,
okay.
so.
Well,
I
maybe-
just,
Out to Dustin.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe
we know a
you,
guy that does surveys.
Maybe you do it anonymously, or I'm sorry, maybe you get rid of the anonymous and you force someone to put their call sign in, but only we would see that. The public wouldn't see that. That kind of maybe there's a way to do that.
Yeah, it
Something-
makes
something
sense.
Like that. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you want to limit it to just hams though, because there's plenty of people that watched that.
yeah,
aren't
that's
licensed.
It's a good.
a lot
that's
of
a good-
prospective
Yeah.
hams.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point. Yeah, yeah. Well, we may just have to kind of put it out there and see what happens. So,
Yeah.
but I would like to do something to where we get, what's the word? We get it. I would like feedback from the viewers and the watchers, because all of the viewers and watchers that were actually participating in the live chat that day, like I said, after that weekend, everybody was great. A lot of really positivity, a lot of positive comments, a lot of congratulations. And I think that the group of us did a great job, and and some of us that was the first time that a few of you guys had ever streamed, and I think that was, for what it was, I think it was pretty darn good. But like Jason said a minute ago, you grow. The more you make videos, the more you grow. So do it again,
Yeah.
do it again, and keep perfecting yourself at it. So,
Yeah.
in reality, if you do a live stream a year from today, you're gonna want it to look better than what you can do today.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just not growing. So I'd like to see feedback about, we're going to get feedback about some audio issues, and that's okay. That's not a big deal. But I'd like to see more than anything feedback about content, what people would like to see. We've already talked about doing a kind of an international thing and letting Callum and a couple of the guys over there do a UK thing early on in the morning, which would be like 8 or 9 a.m. for you guys, and then kind of you guys will feed into us, and we'll take it over at around 8 or 9 our time.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of go back and forth like that. So
Follow
it
the
would.
sun, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And it would. I think it'd be great to
Right.
get. I I think it'd be great
Follow
to
the
get
Sun Hamfest. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. Starting
There's a-
8 o'clock UTC.
There's a new name right there. There's a new name right there. Follow the Sun
I don't know
Hamfest.
who said it.
That was Steve.
Well, that's Steve.
But yeah, I mean, I'd like to. I mean, so what? I mean, for you guys that did not stream, what kind of something? I mean, what kind of I guess content really is the key, right? So, what kind of content did you really enjoy, and what kind of content would you have liked to seen added to?
I think if I could just jump in here, Jason.
Go ahead.
There's people want to know about product, okay,
Yes.
which you did really well as a team. I know because I was behind the scenes watching it, and I saw it unfold and everything else. So it was typical sort of Hamfest product, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing we've got is the what I call the characters involved in making this whole industry hobby work. So you've got the DXs, you've got the techniques, you've got the contesters and that sort of thing. So you could almost split it in twos where you've got the manufacturers saying, you know, go and buy my wares, if you know what I mean. Then you've got the guys who use it, who haven't got an interest, if you like, a monetary interest in it.
Right.
But everybody who don't have a YouTube channel, but everybody would love to talk to or just listen to their views on X. So I can imagine 2 or 3 people off the top of my head. I could give them a 20-minute gap and interview them, really flush out some really interesting things that people would scurry away and go and find out. That would be good. You know, how to crack a pile up and how to create a pile up and just other things like that. But I'll shut up now and let you have a round robin if you like.
Mm-hmm. No, that's good. I'm just anybody who's got an opinion. You guys feel free.
Well, when I think back on it, the things that I really enjoyed the most, I think were the guy from Flex showing off his ham shack, his remote station. And I think I'd enjoy seeing that kind of setup, like somebody showing, hey, this is my shack, or this is my portable setup, or this is what I've done with that type of equipment. This is how I use it, more so than a spiel from a vendor. Not that I don't enjoy seeing that too, but it's really the creative uses that some of the hams are doing is, to me, the most interesting part.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
We actually had somebody commented. I read so many comments that weekend. I don't remember where this came from. I think maybe this was in an email that went directly to me. He was saying that we should do like a club tour, not a ham shack tour, which I think a ham shack tour would be great too, but like a club, like some club room tour. Like say, oh, I've got this club up here that's like an EOC type tour or something like that. And I thought that's kind of a neat idea.
I did a tour of my shack recently, and I did the tour of the antenna, the exterior antenna, and in a week I got like almost 30,000 views in the first week.
Good Lord.
So people are interesting. What's the setup? What do you use as a coax? What do you have switches and that stuff.
Well, that means I would actually have to pick stuff up off the floor.
What? Sorry?
I've got boxes of stuff still. Ooh.
If you have a clean ham
actually,
shack,
people
man,
want to see that.
Yeah, if you have a clean ham shack, there's something wrong with you, man. Come on.
Hang on. Make sure this part makes it into the video so I can show my wife.
No, was that
Right.
Because when I got here a minute ago and she brought me something to drink, and she kind of gave me that look like, oh my lord.
You're going live in that room?
But the green screen.
I also
right.
did a video of behind the scene, behind the desk, so it's very messy, like every.
Oh,
shack,
yeah.
Okay. It's just,
Jason did
I have
that the
tricks
other
to
week.
hide everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, I really enjoyed that one, by the way, Pascal. When you
Yes,
show
sir.
it looks your setup will always look so tidy from the front, but you made me feel a lot better because from the back it was a flipping mess, and that's what you were trying to show. That was brilliant.
I did a video in the past with some conduit. Everything was clean, but every time I had it or remove an equipment, I went nuts, with the tie wrap and everything.
Mhm.
But I found a trick I did. And actually, I'm thinking about live streaming. We were talking about that. And then I wondered, will I have to do 2 live stream? The one in French and one in... Anyway,
Right.
so I
the same
have to
time.
think about it. Maybe alternately 1 week French, 1 week. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm doing the
Just
setup.
do it all at once, and when people start asking questions, just
And-
ping pong.
I want to have, I think, Callum, you have that because I saw you switch cameras between the live
yeah.
stream. Okay.
Yeah,
So is that a Black Magic 810 mini
Yes,
you
sir.
have there? Yes.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
I
it's,
ordered one a month ago. Okay.
yeah.
the pro version a month and a half ago, and it's still back ordered. So
Yeah.
anyway,
It's
so,
a great toy, and
yeah.
it saves you having multiple capture cards.
and then I can use my better cameras, to
Yeah.
do my stream. But I was waiting for that, and I was wondering, can we stream live radio action? Can we record radio QSO live?
Yep.
We can do that. Okay.
Yeah, it's all
Oh, yeah.
public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
Yeah,
this
in fact-
country, no. I'm kidding.
Right. Well, I guess it does depend on the laws of your country, but yeah, I mean, amateur radio is supposed to be non-encrypted and open, so everybody
That's
with
right.
a scanner can
Yeah.
listen, and it's not supposed to be. You're not allowed to hide your message. So yeah, you can totally do that.
Usually when I do tests and I record someone, I ask them permission if I can.
Yeah.
Usually it's fine. But
Mhm.
what I was going to say while doing this, here I cannot go behind the desk. It's too tight. It's impossible. So I drill holes, okay? And I found it fits. I have to show everyone this trick. Is you use an ABS pipe, a plumbing pipe, okay? Plastic pipe. And you cut it about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, slice it down. You drill one hole, and then you use a saw and you do a crack, and then you screw that under your desk, and then you can pass a wire into it,
Yeah.
or just open it like this. And I did all the wiring like this. Man, this works
That's a
very,
great
very
idea.
well.
Oh, I see. It
Now
all
I'm gonna have to
comes
send you a
out
message
easy.
offline. I got to get you a link to pan do it.
I will try to get you a picture.
Very
like
good.
PVC better.
That's good.
No, as far as the broadcasting, kind of interesting current events, if you will. So I do broadcast. I use Broadcastify and an SDR here on another computer in the shack, and I put a local repeater. It's kind of like the Cheers of repeaters. It gets a little wild, so it's entertaining, and that can be found at K6POU if you're interested. Anyways, during all the recent events, I'm sure we've all watched the news. I got an email from Broadcastify to remind me what you can and can't stream. And so along those lines of questions about amateur radio, really the only thing that they don't, the FCC doesn't want to be shared in any kind of format, whether it's on YouTube or Broadcastify, which turns into a lot of different scanner apps, is any kind of tactical channels. So, military, police, tactical, so if we have the ability to pick that up on our radios, I'm sure we all do or can, that is the only thing you don't want to be putting in the public. And that has to do with some fine print, et cetera. But yeah, absolutely. What we talk about, which is nothing all day, we can just have a blast with it.
Absolutely.
And I will also add the Hamfest that was recently done. Fantastic time spectating. I have a bit of gas, as I'm guessing most amateurs do, and that would be gear acquisition symptom. And I love me some new stuff. and so, but the flip side, and it kind of goes on to where my channel came from, and I feel like it stuck. And some of the things when I go record presentations of demos or lessons is it's a timeless piece of information. So I think that'd be great to possibly add that in. Again, we'd have to find people to put behind that, presenters, that kind of thing, but just simple stuff, right? How to build a dipole, how to build a balun, just real basic HF, VHF, UHF stuff. I think could really just be a cherry to the cake.
That's a great that simple kit building or building something simple like a dipole would be really good. Chris, you had something?
Yeah, you were asking about, for people that didn't take part in the Hamfest, what did we enjoy? And I enjoy watching the new SDR Play stuff. SDR Play is an incredible software-defined radio. It's a scanner, it's a receiver, it's got such wide coverage.
Many things, yeah.
Very inexpensive. It's wonderful. Has anyone got one?
Oh, I got several of them.
Yeah.
So I got one.
I'm just looking. Put your hand up. 74 he's got one. Pascal's got one. I'm sure Jason's got one. Jason Johnson. So SDR Play, Obviously the
I do.
ICOM 705. That just fascinates me because I like digital and analog. So it does everything. And as well as that, Bob Hoyle talking about coax. That was fascinating. That guy's very intelligent. He's got a very good way of putting stuff across in an easy to understand way, and that's what I enjoyed on the YouTubers Hamfest. Back to you, Jason.
Okay, good. Yeah, Rob 741. He was the one who did the SDR Play interview that day on Saturday.
Yeah,
So,
they're good guys, and I'm happy that they were able to join us.
I was impressed well, maybe not impressed. I was happy to see some of the smaller vendors join us, like SDR Play and BioInno, who's not even really a ham radio dealer. I thought that was really cool because he is a ham, I think Mike said,
Yeah.
and but he deals batteries to all kinds of areas outside of amateur radio. And then like the hobby PCB guys, it was cool that they joined us, and some of the names that maybe you might have seen at a place like Dayton, but you wouldn't see at most smaller ham fests because people don't. I mean, you're going to see Flex Radio pretty much everywhere, which is great. And
That's why we go to Dayton.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, but I thought it was really cool to have some of the lesser known names on there and talking about their products. And that there's 2 or 3 guys on there that you guys had that I was like, this sounds like something I would enjoy. I didn't know that they made this thing or something like that before Hobby PCB contacted us. I don't think I'd ever heard their name. I learned who they were about a month before the Hamfest, but I thought that was kind of good. So yeah, gear acquisition syndrome. I like that. That's good. So
that's the great thing about Dayton, right? Is you've got everyone in one place, and you walk up to a booth, even though you might have a preconceived notion of what they do or what they might make or what they're about, and then you start talking to them, and you learn something new about that vendor, right? And there's a ton of stuff that I learned at Dayton that you can look at Hobby PCB's website, but unless you talk to them and really get into the nuts and bolts on what they are about, you might find something that you have no idea that they made that hits your fancy, right? So
it's discovery. When you go
to
Dayton, you talk to someone, then the next day you say, hey, I didn't saw that table yesterday. Then you go, oh, what is that? And and that's all the fun.
That's the great thing about including those smaller vendors, right? Yeah. Because you never know what diamond in the rough you're going to hit and see, and it will open up a brand new avenue of ham radio to you that you had no idea existed.
And the thing is that those guys get an opportunity that it means a lot to their business too. So like like what I noticed is the smaller vendors, their exuberance was off the chart. They're very excited and motivated to be there, which I thought was really cool.
And and sometimes they brings new people to ham radio, like SDR Play. People buy their SDR for many things. And I was in the Hamfest last year here in the local Hamfest, and this young guy about 25 years old comes to me and says, I found your channel because of the SDR Play, and he was looking for something for following, the airplanes and things like that. And then he decided to pass his license. He didn't even know what was ham radio. So, so this type of products is very good for that. And as long as people that are willing to develop products for the ham radio community, there will be a business, there will be new technology, and there will be things to talk about on YouTube.
For sure. Well, and that brings up a good point that when Ape said something a minute ago about their exuberance, a lot of these smaller vendors or smaller manufacturers most likely they have a daytime job, which is not something that they're doing with ham. Pac-10 is a good example. Maybe they don't have a chance to go to Dayton and Huntsville and Orlando and all these big shows every year.
Or the budget. Yeah.
Right, the budget. Yeah, they don't have the time or the budget, but they can sit down in front of a webcam for 20 minutes or a half hour and tell everybody on YouTube about their product, and then that video is there forever and ever. So it's a good opportunity. And that's the kind of thing that I like promoting anyway. I mean, like I said, everybody knows who Flex Radio and ICOM are, and I'm internally grateful that both of them were on the show, and we will be inviting them back next time. But some of the guys that like you said, you don't get to see very much. That I think that was a really cool addition as well. So maybe there should be Sterling. Maybe there should be a write-in field for what vendor would you like to see next time? Just empty field and just have them write it in or something.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
So
And then
right on.
possibly, what would you like to learn about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you could give them maybe 10 options. Let's just keep it simple. I think you always are going to have the know-it-alls that just get really bored up front, and they tell you this is just elementary or you're doing it wrong. But realistically, what is the quickest, the cheapest way to get a guy on the air? Because I mean, let's face it, that's all I want to do. I want to get a radio on the air, and I want to be told I sound good.
Right.
You can break it into broad categories, and then if you give several broad categories, then we can kind of winnow that down a little bit.
Well, your categories could be antennas, which is you can dive really deep into antennas all day long. But you could just say, what do you want to learn about? Antennas, kit building, hotspots, digital voice mode hotspots, whatever. And you can just be like Steve said, be really broad with it. That's a good idea. I like that.
I'd be curious how some of this would transpose into how we did it before.
I'm going to put that chat up on the window so everybody can see Kyle's comment about Callum eating ice cream sandwiches.
I was gonna say something about that.
That was an option here.
He's been gumming it.
I've never seen anybody eating ice cream.
Oh, he's so nonchalant about it too.
Oh gosh, that's hilarious.
He's eating ice cream at 11 o'clock at night. Brilliant.
Oh my God, I'm crying.
That's the best time to eat ice cream, 11 o'clock at night.
He's enjoying it.
That's floor ice cream now.
Sometimes we forget. I think sometimes we forget.
I thought that was a bit of chocolate on the floor, but I think it was something
brilliant.
off the
Oh,
dog.
no, chocolate on the floor, no. Oh no.
Oh gosh. Always something. Okay.
Please, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'm eating my ice cream.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's the category thing's a really good idea, I think, for as well. So,
and another thing, I don't know who mentioned it, but the show and tells of we have. There's a lot of times where we get immersed in the equipment and what's new and what's coming out. And I think it was Jason, Ham Radio TV, who said it, where it's, or maybe it was Smoking Ape, who said, it's great to have, some type of forums or, I've got this radio and I've got this coax and I've got this antenna, but how does this all come together in a very, basic form? And showing off, Pascal showing off his ham shack and how things are actually, what are you using? How do you put it together? How is it configured? And we all kind of do configuration videos, but they're all just, little facets of themselves. And, it's nice to see something come together as a whole, like, Pascal's, hey, this is my ham shack. And then, you could probably go into deeper dives on, well, how do you connect your rotor and how to do this and how to do that? But it's ham radio. Your license in ham radio is sure for you to get on the air and to start operating, but really it's a license to learn, right? Yep. And how well do you learn by watching video? And that's the first thing that I do whenever I get either a new piece of equipment or I want to research something. I go straight to YouTube, right? Yep. And I figure out if Mike or Cal or Steve or Good Game has made a video on it, right? Or anybody, and I research the crap out of it, and I go, okay, yeah, that will work in my shack, and he's already hooked it up to what I need to hook it up to. Great, that has already been done for me and tested. So it's a great avenue that we can hopefully pursue in more videos and more virtual Hamfests on getting those things on the air and showing how to hook things up. I agree. Whoever made that comment, I totally agree.
Yeah,
Kyle, like one of the things.
Kyle.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I agree too, Kyle, because those are the types of videos that I like to make myself. I just, just what I like to do. I like to show people what I'm doing and how I've done stuff because I know it helps them. The product reviews and demonstrations and talking with the vendors is good too, but I think we should add more of the how-to stuff next time.
Yeah, I saw
that's
Kyle's
good.
your video on your contest station was impressive. I really enjoyed watching it. And I think like that's the kind of thing that that folks would want to see. Because I mean, when you see that, it's just like, wow, look at the complexity here. Like the way that you lay it out is simple, and it was just very cool.
Yeah, well, even the type of stuff you do, Ape, I really like the way you put stuff together. It's nice and clear, and you put the PowerPoint presentation behind it, and I think that kind of a thing would go a long way too.
Thanks.
I've often wanted to see a presentation on how to get a wife accepting to HF antennas, because I feel like there's a lot. I mean, I'm right there. I had to just build a little bit at a time. How to eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Really need to get Josh in on that one. He actually has been doing a podcast where Leah came on and talked about the hex beam on their roof, and now he's getting a bigger antenna, and so you can imagine.
Yeah.
That's just unbelievable. The hex beam on the roof like that. Like,
yeah.
My wife was so mad about an antenna on the car. Like a 3.5 foot.
My wife doesn't care at all.
Mine
well, that's good.
He's super supportive. I could put a dream beam on the roof and she'd go, oh, cool. The neighbors, on the other hand, probably will be like, that's kind of weird.
It's a nice thing about not having neighbors.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
My wife's father is a ham, so she's used to it. So that was good. You got to find a lady that
there you go.
has it in the family
That's it.
already.
That's a great
and
idea.
Accepting.
Mine even comes with me to Dayton and walk all day with me.
Wow.
And she's not a ham. She's just that is cool.
Yeah, that's how I met.
Mine's a ham.
She took the picture with me and Jason 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's the first time I met Pascal. Is I saw him at Hamvention. I'm like, oh, Pascal, I watched your videos. He's like, oh, thanks. And I have my wife, and I'm like, your wife is here?
Yeah. The first year she told me, look everywhere. I'm following you. Give me your bags. No. I'm not having my wife carrying my bags. But she wanted to hold my bags so I can go on every table and
She was really holding the bag so she could.
Yeah. But what you don't know is I brought her shopping 2 days before. So.
Oh, there you go. That's the secret.
Well, that's why they always put those little cheap, crappy jewelry booths every so often at Hamfest.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Something else to look at. Ooh, good.
I think the secret to the antenna on the car, though, is the Ape secret of the loading coil. It's got to have a nice loading coil in there, Ape.
That's right.
I think
Roger.
if I had something like this big with the 10-foot long, I guess she wouldn't like it.
Well, good. Well, hey, I think all of that is really good information we're definitely going to put some thought into this, but I think we want to kind of get rolling on it. So, because if we do end up doing another show in October, November this year, that's what, 6 months away, something like that. So, we'll want to get a survey done, get the feedback on it, and then kind of decide about who to invite from there. So we probably want to get rolling on it. But I think all that is really, realistically, everything you guys said is pretty much what I was thinking as well. But it's always good to hear someone else say the same thing as you. Steve's talking about coffee. So it's always good to hear someone say the same thing else as you, so that reiterates your opinion. But it's also good to get other people's opinions about it. So that's a good thing there. Cool. Well, I think we'll go ahead and close that one down. We've been going for like 45 minutes, and we'll shut that down. And if you guys want to talk about another subject, I know it's getting late for you, Cal. Chris dropped off. I don't know if his Zoom crashed or what.
No, it's fine for me. It's only.
You just had ice cream. He's good.
I'm good for another couple of hours. At least we didn't start at 1 a.m.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's only 11 at night. I might do some live streaming in an hour.
Hey, there you go. Of course you will. Why not?
Get on 80.
So, yeah, get on. Well, you have good luck with 80.
By the way, before we shut down, I got to say, folks, I did a live stream on 80 meters last night, and I didn't intentionally publicize it to you guys. But when I look back at our little private Discord that we've got, I realized that Jason said, "Hey, Cal's live streaming." Before I know it, I had like most of you chat bombing me on my live stream, which was actually really sweet and made me feel all loved. So thank you very much.
Well, and and that's one thing about posting your schedule on the YouTubersHamfest.com website, because I want to. Somebody said something the other day about, I think it was Chris actually. He's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Just live stream whenever you want to. Don't worry about if someone else is going." And I'm like, "Well, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I want to do my live streams around when no one else is doing them, so that when you guys are live streaming, I'm free and I can come and join you and chat with you in your super
That's
chat."
it.
So
And support each other on their
Right.
streams instead of
totally
splitting
cool.
audiences.
It's actually good for the audience, you know.
I think
we
it is.
We keep this in. I'll tell you why. Is because when I come to your channel and say things and watch it and like it and all that stuff, I'm convinced that YouTube algorithm will go, "Oh, well, if Callum likes this, I've got another 25,000 subscribers that might like this. I'll present your stuff to them." It's good for them. I know it's good for us as well. It's good for them because I like your content. They're likely to like your content as well. So it's good for everybody.
Right.
I agree. I think that's great.
See, now that you've said that, though, they're going to change the algorithm just because.
No.
That's why you have to activate the publicity. Even though if you don't want it, you have to activate the publicity because there's a purpose to promote your video.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to click end on the recording. Thank you for watching. Put your comments below. Subscribe to all these channels. All the new channels, as well as all the channels who have been here for a long time, will be linked in the YouTube description below, right at the top. So click on each one, click on subscribe, click on the bell notification icon, and destroy YouTube with ham radio content. 73.
Very good.
Ciao.
Take care.
See ya.